स्वादयन्निह सर्वेषाम् त्रय्यन्तार्थम् सुदुर्ग्रहम् स्तोत्रयामास योगीन्द्रः तम् वन्दे यामुनाह्वयम् नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यान विध्वस्ताशेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहम् यामुनेयम् नमामि तम् स्वधर्मज्ञानवैराग्य साध्यभक्त्येकगोचरः नारायणः परम् ब्रह्म गीताशास्त्रे समीरितः श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि
तत्प्रधानमिदं शास्त्रम् इति गीतार्थसङ्ग्रहः. Malini madam, please read the English translation.
He finds his role delight in exclusive and never-ending service to God. He attains his feet. This authoritative religious work is concerned principally with such a devotee and his goal to final release. Such is a summary of the purport of the Gita.
Thank you. Madam, Santa madam, please read the verse again.
एकान्तात्यन्त दास्यैक रतिस्तत्पदम् आप्नुयात् तत्प्रधानम् इदं शास्त्रम् इति गीतार्थसङ्ग्रहः.
As I told you all yesterday, I expect more participation in future sessions where already Keshavdas Swami is kind enough to give us the translation into English. Then only when it is a Sanskrit commentary, and even there, when any of you can give us the meaning, total meaning, word by word meaning, somewhere some words, or somewhere some words which you understand differently, that will be very welcome. Now we have to take up the last verse 32 of Gitartha Sangraha of Sri Ramanacharya by the grace of God. And again, Keshavdas Swami has helped us all to go through this. And I've been enjoying your discussion, and then your attendance. Your attendance itself enthuses me that there should be ideas which are very noble, which are given by our Purva Acharyas, previous preceptors, and then we will have to imbibe them, emulate them, follow them, and understand them. The purpose, that is what we call purport of the Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So here, we will also go through today with the help of Keshavdas Swami any idea about Sarvadharman Parityajya Charama Shloka. If you have the Sanskrit commentary for this Ekatantyanta, we will also look into it. Then after that, we will go to Charama Shloka. And here, the correlation between the words. Balaji Swami can also take part even today to connect the Sanskrit words to some English words.
Adiya Swami, sure.
Screen sharing is done by Keshav. No, before that, we want the translation of English. Yeah. This is what. Can you try your? Somewhere, some words. Pranatateharan, yeah. Pranatateharan is also equally proficient in Sanskrit. Though he is a Hindi professor, he studied Sanskrit under Odappakam Rajagopalacharya Swami, who is the son-in-law of Madurantakam Veeraraghavacharya Swami. And therefore, so he studied for a long time in the school called Oriental, Ahobalamadam Oriental School at Mambalam. That is the only school where some orthodox systems are strictly followed. The men teachers, the male teachers are asked to come only in Panchakacham. They cannot come in any other dress. They must have Panchakacham. And then the lady teachers must wear Madichar. That is the discipline in the school. In the campus, in which campus Dr. K.S. Pranatateharan studied Sanskrit for long years. Are you ready? I mean, Balaji Swami.
I will try, Swami. Ekanta Atyanta Dasyaika Ratis Tat Padam Anu Apnuyat. Should I try to explain the meaning or?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay. Ekanta Atyanta Dasyika Ratis Tat Padam Apnuyat. He will attain, Apnuyat, attain, Tat Padam, Tat Padam, Lord.
No, you have the same ye at times. You have this paragraph ye at times.
He attains
Tat
Padam, his feet.
Yeah.
He attains his feet. Ratis, he'll be happy. Ratis is like he'll be happy, attaining so the feet of the Lord.
The word is there available for happy. Yes.
Or delight. He finds his soul delight. Okay, in exclusive and never ending. Never ending is Atyanta.
Very good.
Atyanta.
Yes, Atyanta.
Yeah. Services Dasyaika.
Okay. Service is Dasya.
Tat Pradhanam Idam Shastram Iti Gitartha Sangraha. Tat Pradhanam. This is the main or sole highlight. Principally. Okay.
Pradhanam is principle.
Pradhanam. Idam Shastram, the Shastra which is the Gitartha Sangraha, that is the principle of this Shastra, Gitartha Sangraha.
So what is Pradhanam here? What is important here?
Tat is the first pada of the sloka. This is the Tat Padam Apnuyat. The service.
That's important.
Yes.
So we have the other word, Ekanta. What is Ekanta? Only one word is now missed so far.
Ekanta, I couldn't find where it is. Ekanta is like being alone.
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
So thank you, Balaji Tata Swami. The word he in the translation refers to the devotee. Devotee is again Bhakti Yogin. So we are now concentrating on the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is always replaced by, rather corroborated, supported by Prapatti Yoga. So a Prapanna is called a devotee. A Bhaktiman, a man, a person who is devoted is called Prapannaha. He has surrendered at the feet. He has taken Lord Sriman Narayana as his shelter. So Ekanta is exclusive, meaning he doesn't go to any other deity. No Devata, no Paradevata Gamanam. No going to any other deity. Then again, Atyanta, as Balaji Swami correctly said, never ending. Atyanta is again very concentrated delight, Ratihi. Ratihi is the love. As we always expect the Lord to give us the love, His love. In turn, we reciprocate our love. We love Him and He loves us. Even when we don't love Him, He loves us. And therefore, we are lousy. He is loving. He loves. So Ratis, here, Ekatyanta Dasyaika. Dasyam is slavery. That is service. Ekadasyam. We are doing only that, nothing else. Dasyakam. Soul service. Never-ending service given there. Tat padam apniyat. Tat padam. The feet are more important. Tat padam. Tat padam also means Vishnu padam. That also means Vaikuntham. So there are two meanings. So one reaches the divine feet of Lord, and one reaches the Vaikuntham. He is called Vaikuntha. Because of the place he is attached to, he is called Vaikuntha. Sri Vaikuntha is the name of a Divya Kshetram here in Tamil Nadu. Sri Vaikuntham. So Vaikuntha meaning, Kuntha meaning anything lacking, any deficiency. Vaikuntha is no deficiency. Everything is complete there, available there, full. So in that way, he is called Vaikuntha. So Padam is also Vaikuntham, and also Padam is also the foot or the feet, the pair of feet. Apniyat is again what we call the last session we were discussing about the potential mood, Nyasyet, with regard to the word Nyasyet. So we are now talking about Apniyat. Now any devotee who is doing endless service, only service, nothing else. So endless service only, alone, endless service alone, with exclusive devotion, he will get, he attains. There is no doubt about it, but Apniyata will be, is what we call compulsion, mandatory. So he will get, he should get, he may get, it doesn't mean may get, so he should get. So Apniyata. So you can say simply gets, he attains. That is more important is Ratihi, Dasyika Ratihi, attachment to the service of the Lord. And it has been given two extra qualifications, Ekanta and Atyanta. Only one Lord is being approached, and he is ever approached. And the action that we do is service. And that service is also blessed by him. That is very important. He blesses us to do service. And therefore we are doing service. So we don't think, we must not think that we are doing service and because of our desire and so on. And our desire to do service is developed by our own good merits of deeds. Again, our deeds are controlled by him. So totally everything is he. So tat pradhanam. So what is the goal? Aptihi, tat padaptihi. Reaching his feet is the important goal, pradhanam, most important goal, main goal, for which idam shastram, this science, this metaphysics, iti Gitartha Sangraha. For the 700 and odd verses from the mouth of Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra, as a representative of Lord Krishna, written by Vyasa, spoken for Arjuna and all others like us. We have the 32 condensation verses from the lotus mouth of Sri Yamunacharya. And Yamunacharya followed Natha Muni, and Yamunacharya was followed by Ramanujacharya, and Ramanujacharya was followed by Vedanta. Now let us look at the commentary on this verse. 121st page. Evam sthittasya yatha manoratham antaraya anupahatasya phalasiddhim aha ekaniti. There should be a word missing. Ekante. It is not ekaneti, it is ekante. The letter is missing there. You have to check it up with the original. Uktancha paramaikantina paricharana prakaram anukramya tasya nirvighnatvam Sri Paushkare. Paushkara is the name of a samhita. So pravritti kalat arabhya atma labha avasanikam yatra avakasho vighnanam vidyate na kadachana iti. Ekante. Very good. Yatra then yetadeva abhipretya uktam Sri Satvate. Again Satvata Samhita. There are two Samhitas referred to here. Sankalpa deva Bhagavan Tattvataha Bhavitatmanam Vrata Antam Akhilam Kalam Sechayet. Sechayati Amurtena tu. Nyatva eva bandham Martyena Bhavitavyam Sada eva hi. Praptaye Sarvakamanam Samsara Bhaya Bhiruna. We had the word almost a charma shloka of Gitartha Sangraha. Sarvadharman Parityajya is Bhagavad Gita charma shloka. Gitartha Sangraha shloka, Gitartha Sangraha charma shloka, which we saw here, ends with Abhihi. Abhihi. But this paragraph says, we are all mortals. We are all mortals. We are all always with morbid fear. Samsara Bhaya Bhiruna. Last sentence. Samsara Bhaya Bhiruna. So you have the two quotations from two Samhitas. So Evam in this way, Sthitasya, so one who is in this status, namely the devotee, Yatha Manoratham, according to the desire. It is not our desire again, because it is his will we have desired. So we have desired to go through Gitartha Sangraha. So Yatha Manoratham, if you leave it to our will, anything that we will do many other things. But it is his will. Therefore, Yatha Manoratham is will. Manoratham is thought in the mind, thought in the spiritual being, the highest being, namely Shivan Narayana. So yatha tasya manoratham, according to his desire. We always say manaha is rathaha. Manaha is napumsakalingam, neuter gender word. Rathaha is chariot. Though rathaha in Sanskrit is a masculine gender word, pullinga shabdaha. This is an object. This is an object. Ratha is a chariot, is an object. Car is an object. So it has to have the parts, the relevant parts. There should be a driver. There should be an occupant in the chariot. And this is what Kathopanishad says. And there are horses in a chariot in the olden days. Now we have different parts. Manaha, the mind, will run without wheels, without driver, without the occupant, without any other accessory. That is the beauty of Manorathaha. Manorathaha. Our desire will go helter-skelter. The desires will run riot, R-I-O-T, riot. And they also will run R-I, A-W-R-Y. If we are left to our will, the desire, the mental disposition will be vacillating, wavering. So we always call the mind as a monkey also. Here the chariot without any other accessory. Of course, it employs all the other 10 sense organs, Karmendriyani and Jnanendriyani. But now this is the will of God. This is the will of God. So yatha manoratham antaraya anupahatasya. Now, because it is the will of the God, there is no impediment, there is no obstacle. Antaraya anupahatasya. Antaraya, difficulty, impediment, obstacle, something that prevents from fulfilling our desire. Anupahatasya, unaffected. Upahataha, hataha means killed or destroyed, attacked. Upahataha is coming near and attacking. Coming near and attacking. So upa means here near. Then anupahataha, no attack is possible. No desire can be unfulfilled. So yatha manoratham antaraya. Antaraya, we have another word equivalent in Shastra, namely pratibandhakam. Pratibandhakam. We have the impediment. And we also say Brahma Prapti Virodhi. Prapti Virodhi, we simply say Prapti Virodhi. So Prapti Virodhi, Prapti is attainment, achievement. So what do we achieve? The affection of the Lord. So Prapti Virodhi is enemy. The enemy is Antaraya. We ourselves are our own enemies. Again, there are 6 qualities which are enemies. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya, and Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya,
Lobha.
And
Lobha.
Lobha, very good. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Greed. So these are all antarayas. And ahankara and mamakara is antarayas. Impediments are egoism and sense of possession. So all this will be washed away. We will not be prevented from fulfilling our desire. So phala siddhim, the success of the fruit. Phala siddhim. Siddhi, success, phala, fruit. The final fruit is reaching the feet of the God. Reaching the feet of the God in the sense reaching Vaikuntha physically, reaching Vaikuntha in the sense getting the affection of the Lord. And Ah has said, so Gitartha Sangraha last verse says, 32nd sloka says, Ah said, Ekanta iti, Ekatantyanta Dasyeka Ratihi. So Uktancha, it is also said, Paramaikantinam. Paramaikantinam are the people who are devoted exclusively to Lord Sriman Narayana. They are called Paramaikantinam. Param Ekantinam. Param is the highest living being, the highest God, supreme being. So Ekantinam, exclusive devotion toward the Param, they are called Paramaikanti. They are identified as very orthodox people, very good people, very noble people, very much devoted. They are very much disciplined. They follow strictly the yogas, namely karma, jnana, bhakti, and prapatti. And then what do? Paricharana prakaram. The method of service. Yesterday also, I think last session also, we saw the word paricharanam. Charanam becomes charanaha becomes foot. Paricharanam becomes service. That means doing service at the feet. Meaning we are humble. We have to be very humble. And that is what we call paricharanam, service. Then prakaram, method. The way in which we do service. Anukramya, so following. We have been discussing what are the ways of service. We have been using the word kirtanaihi, dhyanam, aradhanam, so many other. So anukramya, following that, going after that, tasya nirvighnatvam. Our thinking, our thought will be nirvighnatvam. There should be no impediment. The same word as antaraya anupahataha. Antaraya anupahatatvam is called nirvighnatvam. The quality of being unimpeded. No obstacle comes in between. So tasya meaning aptihi. I mean, they hear Vaikuntha praptihi. Or priya, bhagavataha priyam, priya praptihi. See Paushkare, there was in the Samhita called Paushkara Samhita, Pravritti Kalat Arabhya, Pravritti Kalat, Pravritti progress, Pravritti is progress, meaning Anadi Janma Kalat, Anadi Janma Kalat. So Pravritti also means action from the day one of Karma Yoga being practiced, Pravritti. Kalat from the time onwards, Arabhya beginning, Atma Labha Avasanikam. We are now reaping a benefit. We are gaining a profit. Labha. What is that Labha? Atma Labha. It is not Jivatma Labha, but Jivatma getting the Paramatma Labha. Again, Paramatma Labha meaning getting at the feet of the Lord, meaning physically reaching the place of the God, or at least the affection of the God. So Atma Labha, Avasanikam, that is the end. The end of the process from the beginning, what we call from time immemorial, Anadi Janma. So Atma Labha Avasanikam. That is it comes to a close when Lord is attained. Paramatma Labha Avasanikam. Yatra Avakasha Vijnanam Vidyate na Kadakana. The same expression which we saw in the first line, namely Antaraya Anupahatatvam. Antaraya Anupahatatvam. Then second word is Nirvignatvam. Now the third expression in a long half of the verse. Yatra Avakashaha Na vidyate kadachana vignanam. Vignanam troubles. Vignam, vignaha trouble. The pulling is shabda. Vignaha trouble. Vignanam of the troubles. Of the troubles. Avakashaha opportunity. Chance of the obstacles. Opportunity of the obstacles. Avakashaha. Avakasha in Tamil we are using it as a time. Time. No, it is not time. It is an opportunity. Yatra where in the sense while we go for reaching the divine feet, then in that process, no room. Avakasha is no avakasha room. Na avakasha, no room. Kadajana at any time. Kada means when. Kadajana means any time. Na kadajana, no time. At no point of time, the obstacles are available. So there is no room for obstacles. Avakashaha vignana na vidyat. Vignaha trouble. That is antarayaha. It is called prapti virodhi. Other is called vignaha. So nirvignatvam is that is because we remind ourselves that it is grace of God. So etadeva abhipretya uktam Sri Saptate Samhitaya. So etadeva, only this. Eva only, etad this, abhipretya, the same opinion. Uktam said, Sri Saptate Samhita. Then Sankalpa Deva. Now we are talking about what we call the first line. We have Atma Labha, just now we had Atma Labha. Before that, the first line. Yatha Manoratham. Yatha Manoratham is given by Sankalpa Deva Bhagavan. Bhagavan Sankalpa. Lord decides. We also say in proverb in English, man proposes, Lord disposes, God disposes. This is looking little negative, But Lord proposes, Lord disposes. Lord proposes, Lord carries out. That will be the new proverb in English. So Sankalpa Deva Bhagavan, Bhagavan the Lord, Shivan Narayana, Sankalpat, by his decision, by his not proposes or he decides. Sankalpat. Tattvataha, really, truly. Then Bhavitatmana. Now we are talking about ourselves. Jivitatma, Jivatmas. Sorry. Jivatmas are called Bhavitatmana. Bhavita meaning Bhavi. There are two meanings. Bhavita meaning emotionally we are attached to him. Number two is we are the future targets for him, for the Lord. Bhavitatmana. Then, so in our case, in the each individual soul case, what does he do? Kalam sechayati amrtena. Very beautiful statement from Saptata Samhita. Namely, what does he do? What does the Lord do? The Lord uses time, kalam. The kalam, time, he chooses the time. And when is the time? Vrata antam, when the vow is complete. At the end of the vow. What vow? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. That is the vow. Sarvadharman parityajya, Jivatma gives up all the fruits of action. And then Lord's feet are approached. We surrendered at the feet of the Lord. So that is called vratam, vow. Otherwise it is already seen in Ramavatara Dharma Sloka, namely, his vow is to protect all. Abhayam sarvabhutebhyaha dadami etat vratam. So first, Sakriteva Prapannaya Tava Asmiti Chayajate. There is a qualification for the devotee. And Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhyaha. If one surrenders at the feet of the Lord, all the other people are also given the emancipation. How does it happen? Ramanujacharya surrendered to the Lord for the sake of all the devotees. And because of that, because of Ramanujacharya's power, the previous 10 generations of the people and the next 10 generations of the people, totally 21 generations were redeemed. So Ramanujacharya's surrender helped all others also. So Vratantam, at the end of the vow, Akhilam Vratantam. You can say, use the word Akhilam with Vratantam. So the entire vow. Akhilam Kalam, at all times, Akhilam Kalam. Sechayati. Sechayati is P-O-U-R-S. Pour. So what does it pour? In Tamil we have a proverb. Ten vandu paayudu kaadinile. You cannot pour honey into the ear, but the words are sweet. The words are sweet as honey. When Shentamil ennum podinile. When we talk in Tamil, in our mother tongue, the mother tongue is always sweet to everybody. It is sweet like honey. And therefore, Shendamil ennum podinile, ten vandu paayudu kaadinile. So whenever we say in Tamil, the honey is poured on the ears. So Sechayati, pouring, pours, Lord pours. What does he pour? He pours the right time for ripe. What is the ripe time? Ready to do service to the Lord in Vaikuntham. So Sechayati, Amrutena tu. But Amrutena, by nectar, by the divine nectar, by the liquid ambrosia, the ambrosian nectar, the sweetest, what we call Amrutam, and by which one becomes immortal. Jnatva eva bandham. Now we understand that our freedom is limited. So bandham jnatva eva, we will understand why we are bound here. We are all called baddha jivas, namely chained souls, fettered souls, fettered, F-E-T-T-E-R-E, fettered souls. So bandham, fettered, jnatva, knowing very well, jnatva eva, knowing only that we are bound here, bandham. Who is to feel that chain, fetters, martyena, mortal. Of course, the Shastra says only the body is slain. Body is slain. The soul never dies. Jivatma nityaha. Jivatma nityaha. We have many words in Bhagavad Gita, namely Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharya erte natvam sochitam arhati. Then you have Vasamji jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinnati naroparani. The body is shed, the mortal coil is shed when the life is over, and then we take a new body. It is like changing our dress. That's all. So martyena, by the mortal, bhavidavyam, we have to remain here as mortal. That is meaning that doesn't mean Jivatma has death. Please remember, only the body has the death. So sada, always, eva, only he, indeed. Surely, always we must be a mortal here, knowing very well the control on us, bandham. And another meaning, positive meaning is, we must also remember that we are related to God. We are related to God in 9 ways. Navavidha sambandha. Navavidha sambandha. Keshavdas Swami will also give again, if necessary for the members, what are the 9 types of relationship. So the 9 types of relationship, that's called bandha. So we remember the Tamil Tirupavai, Uravel namakku ingu ஒழிக்க ஒழியாது. The penultimate verse. So Uravel namakku ingu ஒழிக்க ஒழியாது. Even if we want, we cannot cut links from the Lord. The Lord's link can never be de-linked. Bandham. So Jnateva bandham. First, we must realize our limited capacity. Namely, we are helpless. We cannot do anything by ourselves. Secondly, we are bound by Him. Because we are bound by Him, the very bondage is very interesting. The very bondage, the connection between us and the Lord is also sweet. Bandham martena bhavitavyam. Therefore, we are happy to remain as a mortal, as a devotee. And then praptaye, in order to get sarvakamanam, all the desires to be fulfilled. First, when we have so many desires to be fulfilled, and we understand that we have limited freedom, and therefore we are afraid also. We are afraid that we may not get our desires fulfilled. Therefore, samsara, life, samsara, if there is some essence, we say samsara, English S-O-M-E. So samsara, bhaya biruna, bayam fear, biruna, a covered. So bhaya covered. What kind of covered? Highly shivering person. Highly, what do you call, chakitaha. Chakitaha. So he is shivering in the bones, we say. எலும்புல கூட நடுக்கம் இருக்கு. ஜுரம் மாதிரி இல்லை. It's not like even fever. The bone itself is tottering. So samsara bhaya biruna. So biru is a covered. We call it in Sanskrit kripanaha. Kripanaha. Therefore, the word, the fear also tells us the helplessness, namely karpanyam. Karpanyam. We must have karpanyam. So samsara bhaya biruna. So so samsara bhaya biruna will go with the martyena in the first line. So by the mortal who is always afraid of the life here, we always expect some dangers into our life. We are always negative in thoughts. And we understand in two ways the bandham. Bandham is we are bound actually to get into trouble. And the second is we are fortunate enough to get bound to the Lord. We always expect all our desires must be fulfilled, and when they are in tune with the will of God. That's more important. Our desires also are dependent by the will of God. We cannot have any other desire with the freedom. Only without freedom we can have desire. Saram Phalguna Sarathiya Vachasam Sri Yamuneyodhrutam Vispashtairiti Venkateshwara Kavihi Vyachashta Bhashyaksharaihi Yadvadeshu Kudrishti Bahya Kuhana Kolahalaskandibhi Jangalaihi Jaya Ghoshana. Jaya Ghoshana Gana Ganai Vidrana Nidra Disha. Vidrana Nidraha Disha. He is very serious in his remarks. Vedandesh. Saram Phalguna Sarati. Saram, the essence. Can we go through? Do you want any discussion before that?
No, no problem. If you want to finish it, you can.
Yeah, just two verses here. So Saram, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, is from the words of Parthasarathi. Another name for Arjuna is Phalguna. Phalguna is the name of Arjuna. And Phalguna Sarathi. Sarathi, you know, the driver. Phalguna Sarathiya. Sarathiya meaning the driver's apostrophe S. So Phalguna Sarathiya Vachasam, of the words of Lord Krishna Parthasarathi, otherwise called Phalguna Sarathi. So who said here these words? Shri Yamuneya Uddhritam. So it has been quoted from Uddhritam. The quotation came from Shri Yamuneya. So Gitartha Sangraha was taken up for consideration to understand the words of Lord Krishna. Vispashtaihi. Vispashtaihi. There are two opposite meanings. We have to take the positive meaning. Spashtaha, clear. All the words are clear. Vispashtaihi, very clear. So we have to take only this positive meaning. So Vispashtaihi. So where is the clarity? Where is the highest clarity? Bhashya Aksharaihi. Last word in the line. Bhashya Aksharaihi. Shri Bhashya Aksharaihi. Or Gita Bhashya, sorry. Gita Bhashya Aksharaihi. Ramanuja's Bhagavad Gita commentary has these letters, the syllables, and those syllables are very clear. Vispashtaihi. Venkateshwara Kavihi Vyachashta. You can also say this negative meaning because Ramanujacharya's Gita Bhashya was not easily understandable. And therefore, Venkateshwara Kavihi Vyachashta. But that is not to be. Generally, Venkateshwara Kavi Vedanta Deshika, the poet Venkateshwara, namely the Lord, even as you know, Ghantavatara is the name of Vedanta Deshika. He is the incarnation of the bell of Srinivasa temple in Tirupati. But still, we also have the understanding that he himself is the incarnation of the Lord himself, Srinivasa himself. Therefore, Venkateshwara. So Venkateshwara Kavihi, the poet, Vyachakta, said, explained. Then Yatu Vadeshu, in whose arguments, what happens to other people? Kudrishti, ill-visioned, bad-visioned, Kudrishti. Bhashya, those who are outside scriptures. Bhashya, outside, Bhashya is outsiders. Outsiders of Vedas, scriptures. Then Kuhana, false claimants. False claimants. Kuhana means false. Mithya we say, Mithya. Then Kolahala, those who are making a lot of noise. Kolahala is making a din, creating a din, shouting and making what we call pandemonium, making a hell of a noise, making a chaos, creating a chaos. Kolahala. Kolahala generally meaning a happy festival, but here it is negative. So Kolahala, Askandibi. They have been vociferously advocating wrong views by shouting. Jangalaihi Jaya Goshana Ganagani. Now, what happens is, all the directions, Dishaha, all the directions, Vidrana Nidraha, all the directions could not sleep. They gave up the sleep. Nidra, sleep. Vidrana, they gave up. They gave up the sleep. Because all the directions were reverberating, echoing the success of Vedanta Deshika's words through, Ramanujacharya's Gita Bhashya words through Vedanta Deshika's mouth in Gitartha Sangraha as an explanation to Gitartha Sangraha. And they were proclaiming their victory. Hail, Jaya Goshanam, Jaya Goshana. How? Ganaganaihi. Because he is Gantavatara, he uses the word Ganagana. Ganagana is what we call the bell sound, the noise of the bell, the sweet noise of the bell. So Jangalaihi, not only by what we call bell, but also by Jangalaihi, by what we call Jalra, we call it. One word for UMB, something like that. Jangali. Generally, of course, literally in separate context, Janga meaning the knee. The knee is called Janga. Knee. The knee is called Janga. But here the Jangala is a type of instrument which is used for bhajans. Symbols. Cymbols. Symbols.
Swami, doesn't Janga mean the between feet and knee?
Pardon?
Is it Ganjira?
Not Ganjira. It is Jalra.
Jalra.
But Swami, doesn't Janga mean between the ankle and the knee?
No.
According to the dictionary, it says between the ankle and the knee, the shank.
Right.
The shank.
Janga is, I told you knee. I told you knee. Janga in separate context is knee. The Jangala, I think you can show me the Hindi translation, Hindi commentary here down the page. Yeah, Gitartha Sangraha. आंदोलित कुदृष्टियों के बाह्य अज्ञान अंधकार रूप कोलाहलपूर्ण वादों को आंदोलित करके और उन पर विजय पाने के कारण जय जय की घोषणाओं से परिपूर्ण सिद्धांत तर्क के द्वारा सभी दिशाएं उच्चलित हो जाती हैं. Pranatatiran, am I right in reading? Is not given the word Jangale, he is not given. So Janga, generally, as you said, between the ankle and the knee, the portion between the ankle and the knee. And we have another word for knee, namely Janu. Janu and Janga. Vedanta Deshika uses both of them in a particular verse in Bhagavad Gita Sopa. Chitrakaram Katakaruchibis Charu Vrittanupurva Kale Dutya Drutadhara Gatim Kanti Leela Kalachim Janu Chaya Vigina Subhagam Rangabartur Madatma Jangam Drishtva Janana Padavi Yanghikatvam Jahati. When the child crawls in 4 limbs, we call it, that is what we call Jangha. But here we are talking about the symbols. With a thread there are 2 what do you call bronze plate, bronze Vengalam is Jangale, Jaya Goshana Ganagani. They are making
hand cymbals.
Hand cymbals, yeah.
That
They are
use
making
like
the noise.
The arias
Yeah.
use.
Right. They are making the noise, the opponents are making the noise, but that will become a victory sound for Gita, Bhagavad Gita, because of the Bhashyam of Ramanujacharya, Gitartha Sangraha, and Gitartha Sangraha. The entire space echoes the sentiments of these three acharyas, winning over the arguments of the given in Hindi as totally wrong arguments by the opponents. They have no proper vision. They are outside the scripture. They are false contestants, and then they are making halabalu, we say. I think in English also we use the word in halabalu. I don't know correct pronunciation.
We say hullabaloo. Hullabaloo.
Yeah. In Karnataka they are using the word. So with this, so iti kavitarki simhasya sarvatantra swatantrasya Srimad Venkatanathasya Vedantacharya Kritishu the Gitartha Sangraha Sampurna. So with this, the commentary of the 32nd verse of Gitartha Sangraha becomes complete.
So these last two verses that I didn't prepare, which we looked at just now,
Right.
these last two verses were written by Vedanta Deshika or by somebody praising Vedanta Deshika? Because it seems
by Vedanta. Though it's a praise of Vedanta Deshika,
normally
Venkateshwara, the word Venkateshwara Kavihi is there. The mudra is there. The seal is there. Venkateshwara Kavihi Yachakta.
Yeah, but
it is his own.
So he praises himself. He praises his own work. Is it
praises in the sense it is what we call not a self-boasting victory, but it's a sattvika ahankara.
Okay, Satvik Ahankar. Okay, I'll accept that one. Good. Okay, that's fine. So then, why is Arjuna referred to here as Palguna?
We must find out the meaning of the name Palguna. Palguna is the name of a month as well as out of the 27 stars we have got Purva Palguni and Uttara Palguni. And then we have the Palguna is the name of the month also.
Getting back to this, I'm looking in the dictionary. It says it is a name of Arjuna.
Yeah.
It also says that it's somebody born under the nakshatra Palguni.
Yeah.
So maybe Arjuna was born under the nakshatra Palguni. We don't know.
I think,
it also means. It also says it means red or reddish.
Oh.
Or name of a man or a temple built by Palguni. I don't know.
Right.
Just it doesn't really say much.
Generally, we know the stars of four brothers of, namely Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrugna. But in case of Pandavas, I think we have not concentrating on. We're not concentrating on the birth stars of these five.
Okay. So then it was mentioned here in the previous discussion about in the purport before, which I prepared. It talked about the vrata.
Yeah.
And you were saying that the vrata is sarva dharman paritaja, that the Lord says you should do this. You should abandon. You should take the vow and you should abandon the concept
the
the fruits, you abandon the fruits of all of karma yoga, jnana yoga, and even of property. Abandon all these things. And that is the vow. So the vow, does the vow represent our life, the lifetime? And because a vow, when we take a vow, normally we do a sankalpa, and we do a sattvika tyaga at the beginning of the vow, and at the end of the vow we also do sattvika tyaga. And does it mean that the vow is for our lifetime?
Yeah, the karma yoga is for the lifetime, jnana yoga is for the lifetime, the bhakti yoga is for the lifetime, the prapatti yoga is only once.
Right, property yoga is only once, but the vow, when you take a vow for Ekadasi Vratam, you say, I am going to fast, and tomorrow only I'm going to take food.
No, this vow is of total surrender. The vow of the Lord is to protect us. The vow of the individual soul is to surrender at the feet of the Lord.
Right, but
We are not talking about the
somebody may
physical
say,
vow that like Ekadashi.
yeah, but somebody may say that Lord Rama says, you just surrender to me one time, Sakrideva Prapannaya. But here, it seems like Krishna is saying, you surrender, and the surrender has to be lifetime surrender. Has to be for a long time until the fall of the body. And after the fall of the body, then if you complete the vow by being surrendered until the fall of the body, then only you attain moksha. But Rama says if you just surrender for one instant, one time, then he will save you. So some people say like that, the surrender has to be lifelong.
But it's not mentioned here except for the word Prakriti. Can you show me the first line? Satvata Samhita quotation.
Sure.
Prakriti Kalad Arabhya. Prakriti Kalad Arabhya. From the beginning, from the day one of creation, Prakriti. Akilam Kalam Cheti Sankalpa. Pravritti Kalad Arabhya, right? Pravritti Kalad Arabhya. Atmalabha Avasanika. So that is what we call. So Pravritti Kalad Arabhya, as you said, we can have it in the life as a lifetime task. Surrender is a lifetime task. Vow is a surrender. Vow is a total surrender, and that should be a lifetime task. But before we understand what is prapatti, we will not do this prapatti. And therefore, whenever we start feeling the helplessness, karpanyam, then we will start understanding that we must do prapatti. And that's what we say, Rama says, Tava asmi iticha yachate. Must beg to say that I belong to you. That's all. And that is, but again, the lifetime is decided by him. Therefore, Bhagavan Sankalpate Eva Bhagavan. So by his will, we will be getting the the knowledge, wisdom to do surrender, and then that will be for the lifetime. After doing Prapatti Yoga, namely Sharanagati, following all the 5 steps, Karpanyam, Akinchanyam, Pratikulya Varjanam, Anukulya Sankalpaha, Goptratvaranam, Rakshishati, Mahavishwasa, then this is for the whole lifetime. After doing the once Prapatti Yoga, as Rama says, Sakrideva Prapannaya. Then it is for lifetime, because we always in the Shastra recommended that Prayaschitta Prapatti is also there after we commit sins after the Prapatti Yoga. So a vow of surrender. Here we are talking of the vow of surrender. As you said, in small terms, every day in our actions we say Sattvika Tyaga, start with Sattvika Tyaga and end with Sattvika Tyaga. That is for understanding that we have limited freedom of act.
So, okay, so if you say that surrender should be for a lifetime, then why in Deshika Sampradaya they do the Bharanyasa at the end of the lifetime? Why don't they do it at the beginning of the lifetime? If surrender is supposed to be for the whole lifetime,
no, this is what the
why avoid it?
This is what we understand. Already this question was discussed, meaning that we become mature enough to do this Bharanyasam or Sharanagati as we call Prapatti at a later age, fearing Samsara Bhaya Bhiruna. That was given very clearly in the last sentence. Samsara Bhaya. Only when we become become afraid, then we start thinking of making a total surrender. Otherwise, when you are young, you study and go for a job. When did you think of the Lord? Unless by samskara, unless your parents say, oh, in all that what you do, please have the thought of the Lord. How many parents have advised us, the children?
Right. So actually, in Christianity, they also have a similar thing. That there are some Christians that believe in christening. That what they do is they have a samskara called christening. That the baby, sometimes they take the baby and they do they do the surrender to God by putting some water on the baby's head. It's called baptism. Yeah, baptism. And even in India today, people who become Christians, they get baptized. To become a Christian, you get baptized. So some people say you can do it. You do it for the baby, and other people say you can. Yeah, and other people say you cannot do it for the baby. You have to wait till the person grows up, and the person understands what it is. Only after he has understanding can he do surrender.
Yeah.
So my
in Deshika Sampradaya, in Andavan Ashrama, you take even a 5-year-old child to have Prapatti.
Bharanyasa.
They are accepting it in Andavan Ashrama. Srirangam Srimad Andavan Ashrama, they admit the children to have Prapatti. I know, clear in very concrete instances.
Okay, so they're doing the children even before Upanayanam. They're doing Bharanyasam.
Even the girls, even the girl child, female children also.
Even the girls are not waiting until after marriage.
Right.
But in other sections, not under even in Tenachari Sampradaya, usually the girls are waiting until after marriage.
Yeah.
So,
but only Munitraya Sampradaya, they allow children also to have property. That is, as you said, before Upanayanam for boys and before marriage for girls.
So you say Munitraya Sampradaya, but Ahobala Mud is part of Munitraya Sampradaya.
Ahobala Mud, though we also come under Munitraya Sampradaya, the umbrella of Munitraya. We are unfortunately are out of this purview. I don't know why, because we also follow the same Munitrayam, same Munitrayam.
I mean, look, seriously speaking, the Tenachari Sampradaya also follow those 3 Munis, right? So, but I mean, Nata Muni, Yamuna Muni and Ramanuja Muni. So these are the
Right.
three Munis. So everybody follows those Munis. But you're saying only amongst the Andavans, the two Andavan ashrams, Sri Mushna Mandavan and the Pondarikapuram Mandavan. They are
I'm not familiar with the Pandarika Mandavan's invitation for children, but here
at least
Mandavan,
Sri Mushna Mandavan. Okay, Peri Andavan. Okay, got it.
but again, your question also lurks in my mind. Why do we differentiate between? I mean, among the Deshika Sampradaya people, when, as you said, even Pennacharya Sampradaya people, when all of us are following three stages, why there's a difference? I'm still at large, you know.
Okay, it may be because we're also following other sages like Vedanta Deshika and Pillai Lokacharya and Manapala Bhavuni. So some people give more emphasis to the teachings of.
No, the Andavan Sampradaya also follow Vedanta Deshika.
Right. I understand. So why is there a difference between Andavan, Peri Andavan, and Ahobalam Mattam on this issue only? Okay. Yeah, it's a good question. We need to do more research.
I will ask somebody to.
Okay. So just a couple other things here. This word kolahala.
Yeah.
Kolahala. From my understanding, when I studied about the life of Alavandar of Yamunacharya, when he went to the king, when he was a boy and he defeated the Pandit of the king, I was reading that the king's Pandit at that time, the name was given Kolahala.
Kolahala.
So
Right.
I think that Vedanta Deshika has used this word Kolahala to mean the people who are against Yamunacharya. So anybody who is against Yamunacharya can be called a Kolahala. Right? Because he defeated the Kolahala when he was a child. So that was just my thought when I heard the Kolahala being used. And then also
There was called Kolahala Muni was there. Kolahala Muni.
there was a
The
Muni.
Kolahala Muni was there. He was defeated.
He was defeated, right? Exactly. So also the mention in the last line of about the bell. I thought that that was very interesting that he was using the word bell there, because he's Ganta Avatar. He's supposed to be an incarnation of Srinivasa's bell. So he himself indicates that he is like a bell.
Yeah.
He's like a bell.
Ganaganaihi.
Yeah.
Ganaganaihi.
Yeah. So again, do we understand that this was written by him, by Vedanta Deshika, or was written by somebody else in praise of him?
Yeah, that's why I told
Tanya.
you.
Yeah.
No. He wrote about himself. Venkateshwara Kavihi Vyachashta. He wrote it in the third person.
Right. Okay.
But he refers to himself.
Okay, good. So that's what I had to ask. But
in every stotra of his, Venkatesha Kavina,
he mentions his name. Okay. I no, it's okay. I understand if a poet mentions his own name to show that he has written the stotra, but it seems like he's giving a lot of praise to his composition, self-praise.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's okay. Like you said, it's Sattvic Ahankar. So if we look in the chat, Mr. Balaji Tadacharya has given an explanation for Palguna as a name. If you look there, you can understand what he's saying, or he can just unmute and he can explain how he's explaining that. Do you see that? Uttarabhyam, Palgunibhyam.
Sorry, I just go. Wait, I thought I'm reading the Govindacharya's comment. उत्तराभ्याम फल्गुनीभ्याम नक्षत्राभ्याम अहम दिवा जातो हिमवतः पृष्ठे तेन माम फाल्गुनम विदुः. He says उत्तराभ्याम फाल्गुनीभ्याम नक्षत्राभ्याम. There are two stars, namely Purva Falguni and Uttara Falguni. Aham Diva, I am the day. This is given by the sun god. Jataha Himavataha Prishte. I am born behind the mountain Himalayas. Tena, therefore, Mam, me, Falgunam Viduhu. Everybody understands that I am Falguna. Falguna here the name of the sun. S-O-S-U-N. The daytime is connected with these two stars, Purva Falguni and Uttara Falguni. And therefore he says, I am daytime. I am daytime. Now, Govindacharya's question. Bhakti Yoga is supported by Prapatti Yoga. Yogin is supported by Prapatti Yoga. Are you saying that Bhakti Yoga has to be supported by Prapatti Yoga? It seems that all yogas need to be supported by Prapatti Yoga. However, Prapatti is sufficient in itself to open fully that Bhakti Yoga has to be supported by Prapatti Yoga. It seems that all yogas need to be Prapatti Yoga. However, Prapatti is itself in open fully the grace of God, who is the actual Upaya only. The word only is only extra. Who is the actual Upaya? God is the only Upaya. We can also say grace of the God is the only Upaya, actual Upaya. And I was telling, I think because he did not attend a few sessions, we understand that the major Upaya is the Lord, and the minor Upayas are Prapatti and other yoga. That's what the answer to his question. Again, can we say that unless one actually has realized Sheshatva and Swatantriya, that Prapatti has not taken place. His word Sheshatva is okay, but Swatantriya is Aswatantriya. That is called Paratantriya. Sheshatva will go with Paratantriya. Sheshitva will go with Swatantriya. He is the Sheshi. Lord is the Sheshi. Lord is the master. We are all servants. We have Sheshatvam. We have the servitude. We have no Swatantram. We have no freedom. Whereas he is independent. We are dependent. These two will not go together. But then, of course, realizing these two qualities, namely Aswatantriyam and Sheshatvam, the Prapatti is only not only a physical action, but also the understanding of the concept. Prapatti is understanding of the concept more than the physical action. As you asked me, Keshavdas Swami asked me, why do we do that in a later age? Because of our immaturity, we postpone it to the later age. But earlier, all of us may understand our own limited freedom or aswatantriyam, absence of freedom, and sheshatvam. We will understand. But still, because of some restrictions, like taking food outside, going to another temple of another god, for the sake of fulfilling the desires of the worldly things. I will tell you, I think when you go to an astrologer, the astrologer suggests for the remedy of the problem, go to some other deity. And Sri Vaishnava, I know many families, many people who go and worship the Amman, as we discussed yesterday, the goddess Durga or Kali or Parvati on the borders of the village. The village has a Vishnu temple. They are all devotees of the Vishnu temple. But when it comes to some function like marriage or Upanayanam, so they pray to Parvati also. The Parvati's temple is outside the village. And it's also called Grama Devata, the village goddess or god. And it's called, sometimes called also Kula Devata also, the titular deity. So they go and worship them. And therefore they don't take prapatti. Because unless they believe completely in Lord Vishnu and remain without going to any other god or goddess, they want to avoid this prapatti. They postpone its prapatti. But it cannot happen just with the ritual if the child did not understand what he did. Or will this ritualistic practice still give the full effect? Yes? So even if the child doesn't understand, as a child, as I said, in some sampradaya of Deshika group, the children are also given the prapatti, and when the child cannot understand. Sorry, no problem. The child cannot understand fully. Even elderly people cannot understand fully. Unless we go through the Shastras, all the Shastras also, repetitively, then the children will not understand. The children will have a full effect. Yes, full effect. The child doesn't know the fire burns. It goes and touches. Does the fire become cool to the child? No. The fire is always hot. Mantras, you don't understand the mantras. You utter the mantras. So when you say the mantras, will there be effect of the chanting of the mantras? Yes. Though we don't understand. So this is what answer to Govindacharya.
Right. So I just want to follow the logic here. I want to understand the logic. So if we say in Periyandavan ashram, one boy is 5 years old, he doesn't fully understand the meaning of property, right?
Right.
But he does. Right. But they do the property. They do the baranyasa. They do the property at 5 years old. So right. if we make a mistake in doing the property, when we're doing it the first time because we are immature and we don't know everything, right? Then again, he doesn't do property again, but he can do prayaschitta property because he's throughout his life from 5 years old until he dies. He can do prayaschitta property. Everybody is doing the prayaschitta property after they do the property, right?
Right.
So then again, the question comes: if there can be if property works and it's done only one time, and the children can do it at 5 years old, why not do it why not do it immediately? There was a story I heard about Kuresha, Kuradalwan, that he had Vedavyasa Bhatta and Parasara Bhatta children, and he wanted those children to hear Dvaya Mantram from Ramanuja, and they had just been born, and Ramanuja told, don't have them come to me before they're ready. Before 10 days, the children should not go, the mother and the child should not go out from the Suchika Griha. They cannot go outside the place where they gave birth. But Kuresh was thinking, if I don't bring them immediately, if they don't immediately hear Dvaya Mantra, what if they die before they hear? What if somebody dies before he does property, does Baranyasa? So he was thinking like that to bring the small babies. Ramanuja said, no, they can come later. But he brought them. He wanted to bring them. So he brought them to Ramanuja, and Ramanuja said, okay, now I can give the Dvayam. And then Kuresha said, I already gave them while I was coming. I already gave myself because I was thinking, what if they die while I'm taking them there? So the question is, if we think like this, if we think that we may die, tomorrow we may die, even next second we may die, where, even if we can do prayaschitta property for any problem that we've done, any sin that we've done, and even if we've done the sin of not understanding when we did the baranyasa or the property, then why not do the baranyasa property in the beginning? Why not do it immediately? The parents can have it done immediately the child is born. Like the Christians who do the baptism for the baby, even the baby doesn't understand, later on, there's no second property, but there can be prayaschitta property. Everybody's doing prayaschitta property, so why not do it first? Why not do it immediately?
There are 2 points. One thing is, who leads the child to the preceptor to do property? Who will lead? Parents, or sometimes for sake of Vedanta Deshika, Appullar was uncle was the initiator. He taught him. The father did not teach him so much. Only the uncle taught. So somebody there should be a guide for us, philosopher and friend, to take the child to the preceptor. How does the child know that he has to do the prapatti? That is the number one. The second one is after the prapatti is given to a small child, later on, unless you remind the child that he has done already the prapatti, the child may not remember at all what he did. He tends to forget what he did. And there are two, only this is, so we are not given proper guidance, rather not proper guidance to the prapatti. Nobody advised us. And when you get married, and then when you are see people doing prapatti, having samashayanam, generally you just dismiss it as some process for some people. It's not meant for us. Then afterwards, slowly only we are realized that we must do. And we postpone it because of these 2 reasons I told you. Namely, Anya Devata Gamanam and Paranna. The taking food outside, and of course they forget the important aspect of prapatti, namely Bhagavata Apachara must not be done. That's all. So here the child, who will take the child? Then any child will do.
Right, but see, my point is like this: that you have the Tenacharya Sampradaya, and apparently you have the Periyandavan ashram. And these people in the Tenacharya Sampradaya, the property is done at Samashrinam right after Upanayinam. But admittedly for the girls, they leave it until after marriage. Okay, that's understandable. But in the other sections of Munitraya Sampradaya, they're leaving it until very late in life. But surely the people who are born in Munitraya Sampradaya families, they know about property. But they simply put it off until they're very old.
Yeah.
They know about it. They know they've been taught about it in their youth. Still, they put it off until being very old. The prayaschitta property for making a mistake when you doing property at 5 years old, and the prayaschitta property for doing property when you're 80 years old is the same. So why not do it earlier? Because we can die at any moment. If we die without doing baranyasam, we have not done property, and we will take another birth. This is my logic.
Yeah, logic is good, but who is to bell the cat?
Yeah, but the Lord himself is the one who brings people to the property. Like you said, the father didn't bring Vedanta Deshika, his uncle brought him. So, but the Lord is actually bringing everybody. So it seems like it is a custom. The custom of the Tenacharya Sampradaya is after Upanayinam for the boys, after marriage for the girls. The custom of the Andavan ashram, Periyandavan ashram, is in the youth they can do it. the custom of the rest of the Munitraya Sampradaya is to do it in the old age. These are all customs, but the fact is, all these people suffer from the same problem as everybody in this world, that they can die at any minute. So if we look at it objectively, anybody can die at any minute. If you die without doing property, you will take another birth. Therefore, everybody should do property as soon as possible.
Right, that's what we say.
That's logic. That is just logic.
Yeah, that's what we say. So you have to pray to the Lord to give rather it's an universal appeal to the Lord to bring all these individual souls to His fold earlier.
Right, but don't we have a responsibility to speak out against certain customs which don't seem logical?
But again, the problem is Prakriti Maya. The illusion prevents you from understanding earlier.
It doesn't matter whether you understand. You just said fire burns. So it doesn't matter whether you understand or not. Fire burns, mantras work.
No.
You said this, not me. I didn't say this.
It's an answer to Govindacharya on his question, that if as a child, without knowing the meaning of prapatti, if the child does the prapatti, will it have effect? That is my answer to the question.
Right.
That was my answer to the question.
Right. So even without knowledge, it has an effect.
Without knowledge, the prapatti will have effect. But who will do the prapatti? You are asking about the basic one. Prapatti. Who is to do prapatti? Who will encourage one to do prapatti? And again, the will of God.
The whole community will do property. Will help the person. Just like I told you, there are Christians. As soon as the baby is born, after that, as soon as they can, they do this baptism immediately. Because
for example, I have heard this, that Munitraya Sampradaya and the Andavan, Srirangam Periyandavan Sampradaya give prapatti to children. I understood only when I was 40. I came to know the concept. But in Ahobalamana Sampradaya, it was not there.
Right, but if you had been born in a family that is following Periyandavan, you would have known it before that.
Had we known that, we would have done it.
Why don't you tell people?
Yeah.
Because there are people being born and following a Hobalam Sampradayam, right? Or other Munitraya apart from Periyandavan. There are people being born and they're followers, they're Sri Vaishnavas, they're being taught Sri Vaishnavism about property, but they're also the possibility of them dying is possible before doing property.
Right, that is right. But my grandfather had prapatti, my father had prapatti, and both of them did not ask me to have prapatti earlier. And when I observed them when they were having prapatti, I observed them. I went with them, I sat with them, and then so all these things. My grandfather got the Upadesha from 44th Praveshingar for 2 hours, and I saw my father also getting the prapatti, but. Both of them did not inform me earlier that I can have prapatti at the young age, number one. And I didn't ask them, what is this prapatti called, why this prapatti is done, how, and all the details. I was not curious enough to ask them. And therefore later on only
I understand the history. I understand the history.
Many such families even in Andavan Sampradaya, they are not ready to even disseminate the knowledge.
Okay. So according to my story, according to my story about Kuresha and Vedavyas Bhatta and Parasur Bhatta when they were children, I mean, I'm not sure exactly where this story comes from, but they did some shrine. They seem to have done property when they're very young. But Govindacharya is asking the question, what about Vedanta Deshika himself? When did he do Bharanyasam? Did he do Bharanyasam in old age or in Deshika's life? When did he do the property?
I think we have either we must have some history or the history is absent.
The history is absent, maybe. But so he lived for 100 years. Ramanuja lived for 120 years.
101 years.
101 years. So maybe people are assuming that he did Bharanyasa late in life.
No, we can't assume anything. But the only thing is, at the age of 5, Nadadur Amman blessed him.
Right. So as you said, in your own family, your grandfather and your father and everything, everybody is doing Bharanyasam as per a Hobala Mat custom. They're normally doing in a later in life. So but I want to know, in the stories of the lives of the different acharyas, do we see that anybody is doing it like that? Is it said that people are doing later in life amongst the different Purva acharyas, or do we see that they're taking it at some other times, or are they taking different times?
We have to go through the Guru Parampara
Prabhavam, yeah, Guru Parampara Prabhavam. Okay, I think Govindacharya has one more question here. He says, since it seems that the two things asked of Bharanyasa are not to worship Anya Devatas or eat food outside, which we also added the Bhagavata Apachara to, Bhagavata Apachara. Is it that initiated Sri Vaishnavas have the habit of doing Bharanyasa to worship, before doing Bharanyasa, of worshipping other gods? Is this the case? Since it seems to be a stipulation. I think you already answered that there are Sri Vaishnavas who will worship Durga in the village temple, the Grama temple at the edge of the village, because of the son or daughter's marriage. So there'll be some Anya Devata worship. So the question, I think what Govindacharya is asking is Anya Devata worship common amongst Sri Vaishnavas before property?
Sure.
It's common. So
Swami, wouldn't that mean that because before one has done Bharanyasam, one does Samashrayanam. So would it not mean that when one did Samashrayanam, one actually really didn't understand fully, what one is doing? Because if you're doing Samashrayanam, it means that you're, surrendering to the Lord, and then you shouldn't worship anyone else.
But Swami, understand something. What he's saying is, in Deshika Sampradaya, Samashrayanam is not property. Nobody is asking you to do property at Samashrayanam.
Because I thought in the past he said it is property, but Bharanyasam is like Prayashchita property.
No. Bharanyasam is the property. Prayashchita property is only after Bharanyasam.
Okay.
Samashranam,
many properties
in Deshika Sampradaya, Samashranam is not the property. They are not asking you to surrender to the Lord. As you said many times, it is only approaching the teacher, right? Samashranam means approaching the teacher. It's not property.
But even the ceremony of Pancha Samskara of Samashrayanam, where one puts Urdhva Pundram and one places the Lord's feet and one's head and places the marks, that in itself symbolizes the total ownership of the Lord, and that in itself symbolizes surrender. So
according to Tenacharya,
Govindacharya Swami, it can be called 50% surrender. Samashrayanam is 50% surrender. But
50% surrender.
But the Upadesha, the advice from the preceptor during Samashrayanam, will not be so serious that you should not worship any other god you should not take food outside. These are all these are not the advice, pieces of advice given during Samashanam by the preceptor, and therefore many because of compulsion. I go for a job. My job is a transferable job. I go many places, and then I see, for example, my own family. My maternal grandfather was a PWD civil engineer. He was constructing a lot of houses in many places, all over Tamil Nadu. And then he had to travel. He had 9 children to take care of. 9 children to take care of. So he kept his family in Srirangam, and then he was going about. Everywhere he went, he was very orthodox. He never took food outside. He took always a chulli, an oven. Then fuel, he bought fuel everywhere where he went. Then bought the things for food, and then cooked for himself, and then worked. That was very rare and wonderful, and such people were there. I'm not quoting only my grandfather, but my great grandfather, my maternal grandfather had to go, and he did not take food outside. Whereas my paternal grandfather had no opportunity to take food outside because he was always with my grandmother, and so there was no problem. There was no problem. And even today, very orthodox people. We know the list. We know the list. I can give you the names. They will not take outside their food. They will either remain hungry for even days together. They will not touch water from any other source except well. So there are some people. Now,
Right. ANC was like this.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean he has done his prapatti or samashanam. So even without samashanam or even without prapatti, they will be doing it. And that is the beauty.
Yeah, just
your
on this.
Question is, Your question is, these two are not very important. The eating food outside and going to Anya Devata. Bhagavata Apachara, the insulting, hurting the sentiments of a devotee is to be avoided at any cost. That should be the real meaning of purpose. Samashanam is half surrender, you can say. Half surrender.
Well,
but unfortunately, the preceptors do not insist that we must not go to Anyadeva. That's it.
But one other thing I want to say about this idea of Samashrinam, in Samashrinam, you're approaching the preceptor and you put the Urdhva Pundra, you get the name of a Krishna Dasa, and you get the mantra, you get the Tapta Mudra. All these things are to purify you. And then the preceptor gives his knowledge about property. He teaches you then about property. He should teach you about property. And then after you learn about property, only you can do property. You cannot do property without learning first. Right. So you have to go to a teacher to learn first. Then after you learn, then you can do the property. So that it makes a lot of sense that there should be a separate property after approaching the preceptor. So that makes perfect sense.
In the earlier years, I had no the desire, nor the inkling, or the opportunity to go to preceptors to learn. After some years, we got some preceptors in Srirangam like Poundarika from Mandavan, Chokkanavur, Narasimhacharya, ANC. So many people who can teach me Shastra. Then only we understand what is proper, what property is. So, again, Govindacharya Swami, remember, if it is the will of God, as Keshav Swami wants, the child will go to the preceptor and have purpose. And the old man, even at the age of 80 or 90, will not go to a preceptor for even Samashayanam today. And even for Prapatti. We are discussing something which is out of tune for these days.
We say is out of fashion now.
Yeah.
There's a lot people have lost the fashion.
Many people do not know what Prapatti is, what Samashanam is. Many people do not want to know. They refuse to know. Then there are people who know, but they don't want to do it. There are three categories. So in this world, we are talking about why the child has not done in Deshika Sampradaya of Ahobila Mata and so on. No.
Swami, I want to give you an instance. In my family, where my children, among my 3 children, my daughter got Samashranam done. I mean, even Baranyasam, and second son got. My oldest son's wife got. My oldest son didn't want to get it done from Rangapriya Swami. He said, I just don't want to get it blindly. I just want to understand the concept. I just want to know what it is. Now he's ready. 50 now. He's ready. So that is his thinking, and I appreciate that. So you just don't do it for doing sake. You still want to be genuine about it and follow it faithfully. I think that's one of the reasons probably they do it in later years also.
So somebody should initiate. Otherwise, we cannot understand the topic and then.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying now. People know that it is necessary, and we also say that you won't get a visa entry to Vaikuntham when you don't have Tapta Mudra.
Yeah, you should really feel the faith.
Seti Pungastavam of Nadandu Ramman says that there's no entry allowed. No entry allowed for Atapta Mudra. Those have not have Lanchanam of Chakra Lanchanam.
Yeah.
We will not be allowed to. But still, I don't care. I don't care. Why should I go to Vaikuntha? I can go to hell and then come back from hell to the earth again.
Doesn't pure heart and good things, doing all dharma things, doesn't automatically go there without having Samashranam? There are people in other parts of the world who reach heaven. So it's only in our sampradaya it's like this. So it's very confusing.
No, I will give you one example.
No, but I just wanted to say something about that. See, we don't hear about Draupadi is not having Tapta Mudra. Vibhishana is not having Tapta Mudra. Gajendra is not having Tapta Mudra. All of these people did property, and all of these people went to Vaikuntha. So again, that is coming from Pancharatra, and that is a custom amongst Sri Vaishnavas to do the Tapta Mudra, but it's also not totally necessary. The point is only Tavasmiti.
Yes.
Tavasmiti.
Yes.
Right.
I am yours.
That's why I said some acharyas advise us. Some acharyas do not insist on that. Some sampradayas do not make a what you call rule. And as Madam said, there is no sampradaya. I mean, there is no sampradaya known to many people. What is my sampradaya? A lady by name Sugandha, I can give you the name. She is in Chennai now. She is 85 now. I met her in Bay Area. She wanted me to teach her Sanskrit grammar. I think we took some book. I forgot. Sorry. So then she asked me to teach Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. First, I think we took up Shyamala Dandakam. And then I was asking, what is your Gotra? Who is your Acharya? And then she said, I don't know. My husband passed away. I have 2 daughters. both daughters are in USA. So I am living with one daughter, and then she also came to my house because she is interested in. Then how did she know about me? That 85-year-old. We met in a temple in a group, and suddenly she called me. One of my friends said, a lady wants to talk to you. Then I was expecting that there must be some young member, but the 85-year-old lady was sitting and asking me questions. Can you teach me something? Then we started classes, and then every day she was ready to listen to lessons. And then today in Chennai, but she doesn't know anything about our family tradition. No, nothing. No Gotram, nothing. Many people do not know the birth star. Many people do not know the day. And English date of birth, everybody knows, but not the English date of birth also is different from people. For example, whatever you gave in those days, even madam's father or grandfather,
Yes.
whatever the parents said, the headmaster of the school will record. That is the date of birth. That's all. There was no hospital to deliver this baby.
My
So
husband,
home was the hospital.
my husband has got 3 nakshatrams. Hasta, Swati. So we don't know.
So the problem occurred for most of my colleagues in my college. They had 2 dates of birth. One is original, the one is fox pass, concocted date of birth. And they felt very bad that their parents gave a wrong date of birth, and they gave older date of birth. Therefore, they retired earlier. At the age of 58, they must have retired, but at the age of 56, they retired. So they were very sad about it. And what to do? And one Sanskrit professor gave a wrong date of birth to the government service, and somebody found that he gave a wrong date of birth because his younger brother retired from government service. Therefore, he reported the matter to the government, and then government stopped his service, stopped his pension also.
Uh-oh.
The Sanskrit professor from Madras University. The problem. So then so many things. But why do I say the tradition is unknown? I don't know my great-great-great-father's name, great-great-grandmother's name. I don't know. Grandmother's name. And we find that as Govindacharya Swami expects, a child is very orthodox, their parents are not orthodox. The child knows the child in the sense, a son or daughter knows more tradition than the parents.
That's true. That's very true.
Like Lakshmi Kumar, your friend
Lakshmi Kumar,
yeah.
the best example. His father does not know anything, whereas he knows everything.
Sometimes I have to ask my son everything for me. Yes, I can.
So this is
Swami, how do we understand, therefore, if we use the logic that one will only do Samayashrayanam, actually one will only do Prapatti, if God makes him do Prapatti. So then we understand from Shastra that God wants all the jivas to return to Vaikuntha. He wants everyone to, come back. Well, not say come back, but go to the spiritual world. So then why it is that less and less people are then doing Prapatti in that case?
No, the problem is the deeds of the previous birth from time immemorial. Your birth is anadi, beginningless. and you have been doing good deeds and bad deeds. The bad deeds prevent you from taking prapatti. It is not his will. You are given a discrimination power. You do good deed and you do bad deed. So the bad deed is yours. Good deed is blessing from him.
So,
So
would you also,
eventually the good deeds will add up to a point where you do property.
Yeah, right.
do you accept also that the Bhagavatas,
Yeah.
they can override that? Like, for instance, I'll tell you what also Gaudiyas, I always like to compare, because coming from a Gaudiya background, they believe that, the devotees, the bhaktas, they can give you that mercy, they can give that devotion, that bhakti, and override all of those bad karmas, and make you speed up, getting back quicker to Godhead. So isn't it that in the same way, the prapannas, they can also, override all of your bad karmas and tell you about prapatti, and get you to take prapatti, and that just changes everything.
That is why you have come here.
That's the acharya. You approach an acharya. When you get an acharya, that acharya will help you do that.
How did you get this attitude? How did you get this intention? These are all what we call samskara, the latent impression of the previous birth.
Yes.
And your surroundings. Then when you have intention to do prapatti, God helps you.
Yes.
Extend the helping hand.
Also, when one really starts to feel helpless, then the Lord really then extends the helping hand. Exactly. You feel helpless, He will then put His hand. He will send the devotees. He will send the Bhagavad Bandhus.
The only thing, as Keshavdas Swami already put it, the words only. You have your number of births is more and more till you achieve.
So even the sins piling up, that can help also, because eventually you will feel the burden and you will feel karpanya.
Yeah. Bogged down by the sins.
But even if you don't understand about property, somehow or other, if you approach the guru, you can do acharya abhimanam or acharya property. Even if you don't understand property to the Lord, the guru, the acharya can help you, and that's what he's talking about. He's talking about
Ukti Nishtha,
yeah.
Just tell them.
But I had another question also. There's the dripta property and the artha property. But dripta property doesn't actually exist, because if the Lord is doing everything, then the Lord decides when you go back. So you may feel dripta, you may want to do dripta property, you may want to die now itself and attain Vaikuntha, but the Lord will decide when you go to Vaikuntha and not you. So
there we have two categories: niyata jivas and aniyata jivas. Niyata jivatmas and aniyata jivatmas. I will tell you later about after asking details.
Niyata means leading.
No. Niyata means when you want to prolong your lifespan, you are not allowed for certain cases. You are allowed for certain. Mrityunjaya Homa is performed. Mrityunjaya Homa. Ayushya Homa is performed. Then generally, as before, just by the time of one's birth, the lifespan is decided. The job is decided. The money, the wealth is decided. You have already decided. But how can we change the date of death? Then there we have some category.
See,
I just
Govindacharya is a Jyotishi, so he'll object to this idea. He will say that everything is in the Rasi. Everything is foretold in the Rasi. So we cannot change it. So no use in doing Mrityunjaya Homa or Ayusha Homa, right?
Oh.
Is there any use to doing these things? If everything is written in the palm of the hand in the Rasi?
But we understand that karma can change, isn't it? We understand that karma can change. So and also one has to have that punya to be able to have that knowledge for something like that to even happen, like Nimrityunjaya Homa or whatever. Karma can be altered, or else that's why they wouldn't have in astrology different type of upayas and stuff like that, because they're trying to alter the karma by doing some type of punya.
And that means the planet's position will change to the favor of the individual soul.
Planets will change, okay. There's a famous story about Napoleon. He went to a Jyotishi and the guy looked at his Hastareka. So there is a lifeline. So his lifeline, the astrologer told him, your lifeline is quite short. He took a knife and he made the line longer. So the Lord can do that. If the Lord wants to do that, Napoleon cannot do it, but the Lord can do it.
कवितार्किक सिंहाय कल्याण गुणशालिने श्रीमते वेंकटेशाय वेदांत गुरवे नमः।